Hello, my name is Steve Morrow, and today I want to talk with you about voters who need to change their address on Election Day. The iPad does a very good job of helping us change that voter's address and allowing that voter to cast their ballot on Election Day. For this example, we'll use Richard Nixon. So when Richard Nixon walks into the polling place, we're going to greet the voter. We're going to ask them if they have their Iowa driver's license or other form of ID. Mr. Nixon has his Iowa driver's license, but we will go ahead and do a manual entry anyways, using our rule of 3. So you'll ask the voter for the first 3 letters of his last name. He'll say it's N-I-X. Then we'll put our stylus in the first name box. So the first cursor pops up there. We'll ask him for his first 3 letters. He'll say it's R-I-C, and we'll hit search. The voter's name pops up on our iPad. So we know right away, registered voter in Polk County, but highlighted in gray. Remember, we're looking for voters highlighted in white. So we need to figure out why Richard Nixon is standing in front of us, highlighted in gray on our iPad. Maybe he's in the wrong location, maybe he's moved. So we will hit that black active in the middle, and we'll have the voter verify their address. And Mr. Nixon will say he lives at 4325 Southwest 31st Street. This does not match our record, so we will ask the voter if they have moved, and he'll say yes, he's moved. We can change their address. We can hit that box that says COA. That stands for change of address. And notice how what I call our 7-page short story pops up on our iPad. There are 7 things we have to do before the voter can cast their ballot and vote. The first question we're going to ask the voter is if they're a U.S. citizen. Mr. Nixon's going to say yes, and so we're going to hit yes and next. Page 2 is the voter address page. This is the voter's old address. We don't care about this address anymore. So the first thing we're going to do on page 2 is hit clear form. And notice how the address goes away. Now all we care about, team, are things with the red asterisk next to it. So rather than ask the voter for their new address, because that's way too much information, let's break it down into small chunks. And the first question we're going to ask the voter is, can I just have your house number? And he's going to say, yes, I live at 4325. We'll type that into the house number field. We'll put our stylus over the street name field, our next red asterisk, and we'll ask him for his street name. Now he's going to tell us Southwest 31st Street because that's where he lives, but all we're listening for is the name of the street. And the name of the street is 31. Notice when you do that, team, notice how a drop-down box pops up. The iPad will search for every address in Polk County, and if the address pops up in this drop-down box, we know we have the right one. You're always going to pull the address from the drop-down box. And look how the iPad does the rest of the work for you. Now it's important. We don't care about pre-direction. We don't care about street type. We don't even care about city. All we care about is house number and street name. Those 2 things will get you the rest of the address. And we can hit next. A drop-down box pops up. Whenever you see a drop-down box like this, the iPad wants you to ask the voter if they live in a house or an apartment. This voter lives in an apartment, so we're going to select Enter Unit Information. Notice how a drop-down box pops up. We're always going to select APT for apartment, and then go over to unit number and type in his unit number. And he says he lives in apartment 212. And we hit Next. Page 3 of the short story is the voter's information page. This is a page we probably won't touch very often on Election Day. It has the voter's first and last name, it has their date of birth, and it has their party. If a voter is switching their last name for whatever reason, we can change their last name in the last name box here. If a voter wanted to change their political party, we can change it right here too as well. But more times than not, on Election Day, when we get to page 3, we won't do much with this. We will just hit Next. And now we're on page 4. Page 4 is the proof of identification page. Here's where the voter has to prove who they are. Maybe they've done it at the very beginning, but they're going to do it one more time for us. So we're going to pull from that drop-down arrow, and these are all the forms of ID a voter can use to prove who they are. Mr. Nixon has his Iowa driver's license. That is one of the forms of ID to prove who you are. So you'll select Iowa driver's license on your iPad. Notice when a voter uses their Iowa driver's license, the iPad now wants you to capture the Iowa driver's license number. You can do that 2 ways. You can have the voter verbally give it to you, or if you have the driver's license on the table in front of you, you can capture it that way. Mr. Nixon's driver's license number is 111AA1111. Now, we need to find our next button. In order to do so, we need to tap anywhere on the iPad so the keyboard goes away, and now we can hit next. Now we're on page 5 of our short story. Page 5 is our proof of residency. Mr. Nixon has to show us something that has his name and new address on there. From the drop-down arrow, any one of these documents, as long as it has his name and new address on there, is valid. A voter can even go onto their smartphone, their Apple phone or their Android phone, and look up one of these documents for you too as well. So a digital proof of residency is allowed. For this example, Mr. Nixon brought in his utility bill. As long as it has his name and address on there, that works, and we hit next. Page 6 of this short story is the voter confirmation page. We won't do much with this page. We'll just hit next on page 6, and now we're on page 7. Page 7 is a poll worker confirmation page. Here's where when page 7 lights up, team, here's where I want you to turn the iPad around. It swivels. And I want you to have the voter look at all this information. We made some changes to the voter's information. We want to make sure that everything is correct. If the voter gives us the okay that it's correct, we will hit submit, top right-hand corner. We will hit accept. And out comes our long sheet. This is our long sheet. Whenever a voter is changing their address, changing their party, or a new registration, it prints off our long sheet. This is the voter's change of name and address. The voter will sign their name where it says registrant signature. And then the voter will sign down below where it says for their declaration of eligibility. Down below that, it asks for our signature as a precinct election official. Our initials are perfectly fine. The voter will walk this declaration of eligibility and all their documentation down to the ballot handout station where they'll do a ballot style match, get their ballot. The voter can then go mark their ballot, put it in the machine to be counted. When the election is over with, we'll process all of these long sheets. We will change Mr. Nixon's address. And for the next election, when he comes to vote, he should be a voter highlighted in white, red active. Thank you.